I'm Sean Donovan,
I'm Trevor Sorek.
and welcome to The Fine Cut. Today's episode, we'll be talking about the newest film in theaters, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1.
It's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful, but it is the 7th film in the Mission Impossible franchise. And later in the episode, we're going to be talking about the best action scenes from the franchise. So, let's just get started. Trevor, you watched...
I was on a mission this
You
week.
were on a mission. I gave you a mission.
A mission that to many might have seemed impossible. But
Many people did this before the movie came out.
Well, my mission that I chose to accept was to watch all of the 6 Mission Impossible
Yes.
movies in just 6 days leading
Yes.
up to the release of the new one.
I had to watch 3 because I hadn't seen 3 of them, but you had to watch all 6.
Actually, it was 5 days because I had to double up on one day.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Yeah, I
4
forgot about
hours of movie watching in one day. That's rough.
That's not rough.
I mean,
That's like a normal Saturday for me.
well, you're just built different.
I am.
But
yeah. So
we'll get into why
we're
some of
we're
it
gonna
was
get into
tough
the
for me.
whole thing, but yeah. Dead Reckoning. After watching all 6, what do you say about Dead Reckoning?
So I see a lot of different opinions out there, but after watching the entire film franchise this week, I think Dead Reckoning Part 1 is the best in the series.
Wow, that is crazy. that is absolutely insane to say, but I agree, honestly. Like, it is one of the best, and we're not going to get into spoiler territory just yet. I think we'll, give it about 10, 15 minutes until we get into spoiler territory. But, yeah, this new Mission Impossible, it's another Ethan Hunt adventure, where he has to fight AI. Like, what would you say about that?
Yeah, that's pretty much the plot, but I liked that because that idea seems somewhat relevant because, AI technology's taken over. You're seeing it everywhere lately. So I felt like that was at least somewhat relevant. I feel like some of the other movies, what the bad guy's trying to accomplish is like not super relevant in a lot of ways.
I mean, like, half of them are, like, gonna destroy the world.
Well, they're all destroying the world. Everyone wants the world to explode. But yeah, I mean, there's at least another layer to the plot of an AI going on, just because of like the times we're living in. I'm sure maybe if I saw some of the Mission Impossibles, like, the time they came out, I'd probably think about them differently.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I watched them all this year. I hadn't seen any of them. I actually started watching them because of this one coming out. Kind of what I did with, I'm going to kind of walk a little bit into the territory that we're going to go into later when we talk about the franchise as a whole. But that kind of what happened to me with the Fast franchise, where I was like, the 9th one was coming out back in 21.
It's like, oh, I got some catching up to do.
I was like, dang, I gotta watch all 9. So, yeah, but I still, like, honestly, this was, like, watching all of them they were really fun, especially just watching 3 before this movie coming out.
With this new
already out.
one, I felt like the musical score was like better, more intense. I felt like the plot was, I mean, it gets a little complicated in the middle there, but I think it made more sense than the other movies. Like, it was better written, like the script, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I mean, the action is solid as always. I think the action is probably the most consistent element of these movies.
A lot of people know these films based on the action set pieces. We were talking before we started recording, and you were like, "How do I differentiate?" I can't speak. Differ. I'll just say differ.
When you watch all of them in 6 days, they kind of bleed together.
I mean, I watched 3 and they bleed together, honestly. Like, so
you gotta do some advanced math in your head to figure out which one's which.
Yeah, but I think that's when you bring up, I feel like they have to be very over the top action scenes so that people can differ them, because I mean, like as I was saying, the way I explained them to you was, one is the iconic Tom Cruise hanging heist scene. Number 2 is the rock climbing. Number 3, Philip Seymour Hoffman villain. Number 4 is Burj Khalifa. Number 5,
nothing about like what he's doing, just Philip Seymour Hoffman.
yeah, just he's the villain of 3. And then
4,
5,
they go ghost hunting.
oh my god. No. 4 is Burj Khalifa. We're gonna have a little bit of a little bit of a spat, not a fight, but we'll have a little spat.
Oh, we are.
About 4 in here in a few minutes. But number 5 is the plane, him holding on to the plane. Number 6 is Henry Cavill and the bathroom fight, and number 7 is the cliff jump. That's how I differ them. So
Yeah, and that'll be on the test. So
yeah,
I hope you were listening.
We're gonna send out a PDF to every listener.
Which movie was this?
The Mission Impossible test.
It's like a still from the movie. You just have
Which
to
one
guess.
is it? It's just a close up of Tom Cruise's face.
Yeah, yeah. It's,
Which one?
It's just pictures of Tom Cruise, so you have to guess
Yeah.
just based on that.
But yeah,
That might be difficult at times. If you
I
did
feel
that.
like you could get at least number 1, 2, and 3.
2 would be really obvious.
Yeah. 2 would be obvious.
Because of his hair.
2 would be obvious, and then I think also.
Man, he looks really old in this one.
I feel
Must
like
be the first one.
yeah, I was gonna say 1, 2, and I think 3 you could probably get.
How old is Tom Cruise?
What? Like just right now?
Like
I'll look
during
it
the
up.
filming of this new one.
Well, this took.
He ain't in his 70s yet.
Well, let me look up Dead Reckoning. The dates that it was in production.
Is he still in his 50s? I don't
So
even know.
right now he is 61.
61.
61.
And you really don't even notice because he's still out there doing his thing.
He looks better than me. Like
currently.
genuinely. I'm 21 years old, and Tom Cruise at 61 is better looking than me, honestly.
That's what doing an impossible mission franchise will do for you.
Yes, yeah. It looks like it was filming it started filming February 20th, 2020.
Dang. So that actually took a while. Well, yeah, that makes sense.
So it was supposed to be a 40-day shoot, it looks like, but it was halted by the pandemic in Italy.
Yeah.
And then July 6th, the crew was given permission to film again.
Mm-hmm.
So this was recorded in 2020.
So he was like 58.
He was like 58, 59 when this was filming.
I mean, you really can't even tell.
Honestly, yeah. Like I said, he looks better than me, honestly. But
he's doing all the stunts.
yeah, I mean,
CGI.
good for him. I mean, I think that's also why these movies are like so great, is because of his enthusiasm to do it. And I mean, this one even, it really feels like he's like, I have enthusiasm to finish this. So
I felt like this new one was more fun than the previous movies.
Okay.
Because, like, you have Haley Atwell thrown in there.
Mm-hmm.
So you have Haley Atwell's character bouncing off Tom Cruise. And I felt like that was pretty enjoyable for me. And there's some, bits that were funny, honestly.
Yeah, that I was gonna actually bring that up. Is like there's some
Threw in a little
times
comedy.
where like
I feel like Fallout didn't have enough humor. It was a little too serious.
there was some, but like this one I picked like it stood out like a sore thumb to me, the comedy.
But like in my opinion here, I didn't think any of the funnies like overshadowed anything.
Oh, not at all.
I think
not at all.
it still kept the serious tone throughout, and it was good. In my opinion.
Yeah, I mean the thing when I say the comedy stands out like a sore thumb is when they get the car,
the Fiat.
Is it 500?
Okay, but I still like that.
It was funny. It was good. And I think also what helped was that Haley Atwell's addition to it didn't feel too forced.
Agreed.
So like, and I think also the villain didn't feel too forced. Which I want to go in later about the whole the whole like plot scenarios.
I feel like there's people
but-
out there who hard disagree with that, but
Oh yeah, definitely.
we'll
But
see.
like I think the like that's the good thing. I think one of the strong suits of the franchise and this movie is that the new characters feel very seamless. They feel like integrated seamlessly into the story. So like the whole Grace character, it's like the Rebecca Ferguson character is
Ilsa?
Ilsa. I cannot speak. Ilsa was kind of in 5 was introduced. She felt very seamless. Who was it? Vanessa Kirby in 6, very seamless kind of in, and then this Haley Atwell very seamlessly in. But the thing about Haley Atwell is that I like that she kind of isn't really on a side. She's just there. I mean, what was the movie that?
It kind of fits in with a little theme that's in this new one.
Oh yeah,
About accepting the mission, joining the cause.
yeah. I would. Yeah, I mean, yeah. She kind of.
Because like even the first scene with Tom Cruise, the newbie delivers the
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah,
the little message
yeah.
for Tom Cruise, and he's
I'm gonna.
"Hey,
This isn't. This.
hey, welcome to the Force."
Yeah, that's so.
Kind of cheesy, but
kind of cheesy. Yeah, of course. But I also really, you bring that up. This is not really a spoiler, so I'm not gonna like be like, guys, spoiler alert. But like him being a like DoorDash driver is
oh,
like so funny
the,
to me.
the courier at the
Yeah.
beginning or whatever.
He's like a DoorDash driver, which is so just like kind of ridiculous, but but it makes a lot of sense.
Good cover.
Like it really does.
It's like, did Tom Cruise also order some food?
Do you think he
There's some
also
noodles
had
in
like
there?
orders? Do you think he had like other orders that he was doing?
Well,
but
you
he was,
gotta
like,
stay in cover. You can't blow your cover.
He's just like, God damn, I'm working for the IMF. He's like driving around in his little
Working
like,
for a
car.
secret agency in the government, and I have to deliver noodles.
I gotta deliver McDonald's to like stoned people at like 7 at night.
It's part of the cover. You have to.
I got to. You got to. But yeah. Speaking of like new people in this series, what'd you think of the whole like new characters versus older characters? Because like the new characters, I would say, are Haley Atwell and the villain Gabriel, as well as the new also like the sidekick, Palm
the henchman.
Clementius Paris, which I didn't realize her name was Paris until I looked it up. So
She's a henchman.
yeah, but she's a good. But
Henchwoman.
she's like the right hand man henchman that actually has like a character.
Yeah.
So
Unlike the nameless background fodder.
well, like I didn't even like. What was it? There's the one in Rogue Nation, I think. Or no, I think it might be Fallout.
The Bone Doctor guy. Is that what you're talking about?
Like yeah. Actually, yeah, that's Rogue Nation, but like,
you gotta have one
it's-
good henchman in there.
Yeah, well, it's Fallout. It's Fallout with Vanessa Kirby's like henchman. Like he's very distinct, and I noticed him in this one, and he kind of becomes like a
His name
very-
is Zola, right?
Zola. Yeah.
That's her brother, I think.
Oh,
Right? Or maybe not.
let me check.
I think they're siblings.
I wouldn't be surprised if they were, but
That's their thing.
but yeah, I mean, you always have to have that one like kind of stand out. I can't
Character.
henchman.
Henchman.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, what do you think of like the new ones? Also, the return of Henry Cairnsey, whoever as
Kittredge?
Kittredge. Yeah.
That's a blast from the past. I think all the actors did really well. I felt like the script was better in this movie, to be honest, compared to the previous movies.
Yeah.
Because like there's a whole scene in the middle where you have each interested party in the, the MacGuffin everyone's trying to get. You have all the interested parties talking about why they want the thing and why no one else should have the thing. But, like, it doesn't get as confusing to me compared to, like, some scenes in the other movies.
What would you say, like, was not confusing about it?
I think maybe it was partly because of maybe the camera work or something. Like, it would cut to, like, a close-up of that person, and then they say their thing. And you're like, okay, that is that person's, interest in the thing that they're trying to get.
Oh, by the
And
way,
then-
Zola is Vanessa Kirby's character's brother. I didn't realize that.
I noticed that.
So.
I knew that one.
There's a lot of stuff that I didn't really
Well,
pick up on.
and then Tom Cruise's take on the whole thing is like, I'll kill the AI. Makes sense.
Oh yeah.
And, like, he's the main character, so obviously his interest in the key is established and not hard to forget. And then you have Ilsa in there, who's always like a double agent doing things for different reasons.
6, she's the broker.
Yeah.
So.
And then the White Widow. You get what each of them.
Okay, never mind. I'm the White Widow is the broker. Sorry,
Yes.
You said Ilsa, right?
Well, yeah, Ilsa's
Yeah.
there too, and she always has her own interests, but is like kind of aligned with Tom most of the time.
I think she is fully aligned with Tom.
Yeah, well, maybe that helps
Or
a little
Ethan
bit.
Hunt.
There's one less, there's one less intermingled plot idea.
Yeah.
One less confusing plot element because they're kind of on the same team.
Mm-hmm.
But I just felt like it was easy to remember what each person wants and, like, why. Versus the other movies where it was more confusing.
Yeah, I mean,
And if someone was wearing a mask in that scene, it would have made it, like, even more confusing.
yeah.
But they didn't do that. They refrained from doing that.
Oh yeah.
I like how they pretty much. Well, every one of these movies uses the mask thing.
I think we should bring that up when.
Well,
talk
it's
about the
part of the
franchise.
elements of the franchise, right?
Oh yeah, but I
So,
think like,
I mean, everything is established in that first one, right?
but even like the mask comes back in this with the whole. Should we go into spoilers now? Because I think this is like a decent spot to
Sure.
like
Yeah.
go into spoilers for a bit. But like they use the mask on the train.
Yeah, and they use it at the
So-
beginning too. If you remember, with
Oh
Kittredge.
yeah, okay, yeah. I was like trying to remember what the.
I like that. Here's one thing I really like about the Mission Impossible franchise. So, like, they'll have something totally ridiculous like the mask technology,
Mhm.
and sometimes it's not used very well from a movie writing standpoint because it feels like a cheap twist.
Yeah, it's
It's
very
like-
much a cop out. Like
Yeah, it's like,
Oh,
did
it's
they
not
really
actually-
write this scene with that in mind, or they just reveal the twist and then, like, oh, their motivation has changed?
mhm.
But
Well, I think the mask usage I think doesn't work like in
some of the earlier movies don't do it well.
like in 2.
Mission Impossible 2 is not a good usage of the mask.
Like yeah,
thing.
it's just like, oh, he's dead. Oh wait, no, he's not. You know,
Yeah,
it's
that
like,
one's just a
it's-
fake out, right?
It's a fake out, but I think like the mask is used really well in like.
I think it's used well in this new one.
I think it's used well in this new one, and I think it's used well in Fallout
Yes.
when the whole like Sean Harris's character is being taken, and then the or Henry Cavill's Walker comes in and is like, blah blah blah. I'm gonna.
Yeah, they totally trick him.
Yeah.
That one in particular that you mentioned, I didn't like that one as much because it's a little bit too confusing. Because then you have to you have to rewatch the entire scene with like, oh, okay, that person is actually this person.
Yeah.
Gets kind of dumb,
Yeah.
in my opinion. But I feel like in this new one, they used it like briefly and for like a very specific reason. So like
Yeah.
that totally works for me. So the mask is definitely part of the franchise.
Well, I also like that in going we're in spoiler territory, but like the mask machine breaking down so Tom Cruise
Oh.
doesn't have a mask.
Yeah, so that's something I like. They have these, totally unbelievable technology, but then
But
they go through efforts to make it more believable
That's what I
by
was gonna
having
say.
like showing the machine that makes it and
Yeah.
how it makes it. And you can actually see from like, I don't know, the fourth one to the newer ones that the technology actually advances more.
Yeah.
Like they use different materials or like the mask
Yeah.
is made in a different way.
Oh yeah. I think
So it's like, okay, that actually makes it somewhat believable more than it was otherwise.
yeah, well, I think that's also another thing about the franchise as a whole that I really like is that the the whole like technology that they use, it's very futuristic almost, but
Yeah.
not to like the extent of like Star Wars. It's like it's almost grounded a lot more than like some of the other
kinda.
franchises. I mean, like because
I mean, Ving Rhames can basically hack into anything, which is ridiculous. But
that's the staple. That's the staple of all
Yeah.
action movies. There always has to be the hacker that knows how to do everything.
the hacker, let me hack into this microwave for you. It's like, okay,
But
makes sense.
But actually, you bring up Ving Rhames. What do you feel about Ving Rhames just like leaving? He just like goes.
No,
It's
but like the reason that he leaves in the movie makes sense. So I didn't have a problem with it.
It does, but like he just kind of is like, "See you guys."
It's like in real life, he just like, oh, I can't film. I got
go.
a thing.
Like, yeah.
Just write me out real quick. They're like, okay. I didn't mind that at all because like they're going against an evil AI that can like basically use any system, so he has to go analog. That's cool. I
Yeah.
like that. That's fine.
Yeah, like
And like, what
No,
was he gonna do in that third act anyway?
yeah,
Nothing.
Benji's
'Cause-
already there.
Yeah, Simon Pegg's character kind of gets sidelined for most of the third act.
Yeah, but I also look at it and I'm like, he's a crucial part of
He is helping Tom.
Rogue
but-
Nation and Fallout's third act,
Yeah.
and I think
This is
Like-
probably his least involvement in the third act
yes, I would say.
out of like the last 3 or 4 movies.
Well, because like Ghost Protocol, except for like 3, which even then I think he has a decent role in
Yeah.
the third act for 3. But like 4, he has to help with that whole turning on the server back on.
Yeah.
Plus, then Rogue Nation, he's literally like the bomb. And then 4, he's diffusing a bomb. So I mean, yeah, it's definitely
And
like
in this one, he's defusing a bomb, but it's not a bomb.
yeah, that was the whole Abu Dhabi airport was interesting.
I kind of liked it though, because the entity is trying to learn about them personally,
Oh yeah,
which
Well,
is
I
kind of
like-
creepy because it's like it's not a person, it's like an AI.
hmm
I like that.
I like that half of them are riddles and then half of them are just like
Questions.
questions about your life. Like
You
that's-
have to answer. It'll know
Well,
if you lie.
I really like the whole "Are you afraid of death?" And he's like, "Yeah, who is it?" But that whole Abu Dhabi airport scene, I really like the like Luther hacking.
There's
to
some
make it-
impossible technology going on. I'm just gonna make this random Arab dude look like Tom Cruise, and then
I mean-
they'll go after him.
I almost feel like it's a dig at deepfakes a bit.
I mean, yeah, there is like deep fake technology and stuff like
Yeah.
that, so it's not that far fetched. Like,
Exactly.
It's
It's grounded, but it's
somewhat plausible.
it's
and like the whole
elevated
thing with-
grounded technology.
yeah, like the whole thing with the AI. Maybe that's why I like this one more.
Mm-hmm.
Is because it feels like it's somewhat plausible, whereas some of the other ones don't seem, or like
Okay.
some of the other ones are plausible, but just like not as
Yeah.
interesting.
Like, in all honesty, stepping on the Burj Khalifa scene from 4, fun scene, great scene in my opinion, but I do not believe the little sticky gloves.
Really, the sticky gloves are what ruins that for you?
It's not so much. It's like one of those like minor little nitpicks that I'm like, I don't think those would be real, but like, the gloves, like, they don't take me out of it, but it is like, I don't know if those would be,
Yeah, like
I don't
how do
know if
those
those are
work?
real. Like,
At least in the first one, they're like little suction cup circle things.
yeah,
That's more plausible, and
exactly.
maybe that's why
But
it works better.
but yeah, this whole
So the new movie has everything you want from Mission Impossible. It's got the theme song in it. It's got
yes,
the 4D chess, people
the
playing
whole
each other thing, which, like I said, I think was more clear in this movie and like made more sense. And there was no cheap like fake outs.
yeah.
Helps a lot when there's not like a cheap twist. Oh, I was someone else. Ooh, they didn't really do that in a way that like ruined it.
Speaking of the theme song, did you like? It took a while to get to the opening like credit scene.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
I was like,
they have to have the. See, that's the only thing that keeps this movie from being perfect is there's like exposition dumps and like they show you what happens on like the Russian submarine at the beginning.
that's
like
but that's crucial. That is crucial.
it's crucial to the plot, but I just felt like kind of a weird way to open it.
It's yeah. I was kind of expecting like Tom Cruise to be on the sub or something like that. But
Yeah,
it is like a 10-minute scene.
Oh, for
of
real?
like,
When the torpedo makes contact with the sub and then it doesn't explode or anything, I thought for sure you'd cut to like Tom Cruise on the outside of it, like he was sent in a torpedo to like get into the ship.
yeah, that would be.
That's
Tom
what I was
Cruise
expecting.
just being shot onto the thing and that huge like boom that they feel is
Yeah.
just Tom Cruise hitting the sub. That would have been good.
That's what I thought was gonna happen.
But yeah, I think like that's the down, especially watching, like, I mean, after you've watched all of them,
Yeah.
he's in like every cold open.
Is he?
I think so.
Usually they have like a cold open with the bad guys or something, doing their evil thing.
But he's still a part of it. Because you have,
Yeah.
I can't really remember one's cold open. Does one have a cold open? It has
One
to
starts
be like,
with their mission going south.
yeah, that's what okay. But he's involved. Number 2, he's not there, but he is involved in it because they use the whole mask thing on the plane. 3, it's the
3 and 4 are the hardest ones for me to remember anything from them.
3, it opens with him like being tortured later in the film.
Oh yeah, three has like the flash forward.
Yeah. 3 has the flash forward and then kind of flashback. 4 is the whole it's not the prison break, is it? That's not the beginning, is it?
I think it is. I don't know if that's the very first scene, but that's like the first thing that happens.
Yeah, let me look it up. But like 5 is the plane.
Yeah.
And then 6 is the see,
It's
this
not
is
easy
what
to remember.
it is not easy
They
to
bleed
remember
together.
these, but oh wait, 4 opens with the whole the guy dying from Leah Sadu.
Oh.
And then it cuts to the whole prison break. And then
Sure.
6, let me get to it. 6 is the
Sometime today.
yeah, no, I can't,
See, if you can't
Yeah.
remember, it must not have been that good of an opening.
yeah, Fallout does have kind of a like not great opening.
Honestly, this Dead Reckoning's opening, I just kind of remember because I
Yeah.
just saw it yesterday.
Oh yeah.
And like the submarine, like Russian submarine people that aren't,
Yes, the Russian.
characters.
It basically goes Russian submarine, DoorDash delivery dude, like the Arabian
Yeah,
desert,
and then like the title
and
card.
then no, and then
Title card is so
the-
far into the movie.
it's like 30 minutes in, but it's the it's the whole like meeting, like interspliced with the whole Arabian desert
Yeah,
sequence.
yeah.
but like it takes so long to get to that opening, and it's like,
That's just like the intro. That's like exposition.
yeah, I mean, I can see it, especially with this being part one. Like, this is definitely just the first act.
Yeah, the second one's just gonna go
And-
straight into the action continuing, which
Yeah,
is probably gonna make it better than this one.
I think, and that's why, like, a lot of people, that's why I didn't want to rank them. Like,
Ranking
didn't
these
wanna-
movies would be literally too hard for me.
really,
Yeah, because, well, to me, some of them just aren't as memorable.
that's
Kind of a
fair.
hot take.
That's
like,
valid. But like, that's why I didn't want to rank them, is because like it feels not completed. Like, if you would rank them if you ranked them up to Fallout,
It's only part one.
fine.
I felt like part one definitely made sense where it ended and like felt like a
Yes.
complete movie to me for sure.
It definitely feels like, and we saw this with Spider-Verse earlier this year.
Yeah.
It very much feels like a standalone film, but it is definitely part one.
Yeah, let me just to close up this section. Let me just skim through my review one more time. So, my review, I said I loved the music. I felt like the musical score was great.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like the plot and the script were like concise, made more sense. And like they do deliver information in a vague way at times, especially with the AI but I think that lends into a little bit of mystery of like, what does the entity want? What is it doing? Why?
Yeah.
But I think that helps to make the movie more interesting.
Yeah, but like, counterpoint to that is like that
Do the writers actually know?
it almost confused me a little bit, and I feel like it's the writers being like, oh no, like, I think it's just the one guy. No, it's written by Christopher McQuarrie, who directed, and then Eric Jenderson. The guy that made Band of Brothers, so that's I guess okay, cool.
Any vague information in this movie, it feels like there's actually a purpose to it.
It
like,
feels like
it's
there. It feels though
leading
like,
into some mystery that keeps it interesting.
to me, it feels like it's on purpose because they don't know what they want to do with it yet.
I wouldn't go that far. I feel like they do have a plan.
I don't know. That's just me. It just kind of feels like,
Well, in some of the previous movies, they'd withhold information because there's a cheap twist with like, taking.
do you think then that they're going to be holding?
Happen
Do you think they're then doing it to have a cheap twist in the second one?
that
think
would
that-
be really disappointing.
I was going to say, do you
But-
think a cheap twist in the second one's going to ruin part one for you?
Well, retroactively ruining this first part from the second part, you mean?
Yeah, like if they just say like, oh, cheap twist.
Well,
like,
yeah, I guess
Tom Cruise is gonna wear Gabriel's face, and that's how he's gonna.
he
be
actually was the
undetected.
entire time in the first movie.
Yeah.
Like, no, that would definitely make me not like this one as much.
Okay.
Just because of how connected these two are
Oh,
going to be.
of course.
Whereas, all the other ones are like their own stand-alone thing. Really only six and then into this new one are like connected in any way.
6 and.
Or was it 5 and 6?
I mean,
they had
well,
the
I told
same-
you off mic. Like, I didn't realize that 4 brings up the Syndicate. From
Yeah,
the
they
fifth
bring it
one.
up at the end because they're teasing
But,
a
like,
sequel.
Yeah,
So that's not really the same.
but it is still like interconnective.
Yeah, sorry. 5 and 6 have the same bad guy,
Yeah.
which, So this one is going to be connected to the next one,
Yeah.
obviously. So there's a chance that the next one ruins it, but hopefully it doesn't.
It's gonna be perfect.
So
5 out of 5 stars.
you get all the good stuff from the franchise, like the 4D chess game going on, the use of technology and gadgets, not just the masks, but they use some other things like the fancy gas mask thing,
that
and
that
then
actually was really cool.
the
to me.
hacking technology, the green smoke bomb things
Yeah.
that he uses more than once. He doesn't forget
Mhm.
about them. He uses them more than once. I hate when movies do that. They'll introduce a
just-
thing and then forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
No, Mission Impossible, they introduce those masks and they use them in every movie.
One that I really wish would come back though. Like if we're talking
That
about
they did forget about?
that I think they did forget about that I think would be really cool is the whole like false screen or false screen from Ghost Protocol.
See, I'm okay with that because I felt like they used that in a very specific way in Ghost Protocol, and then
it is,
you
but
kind of see why it's not that effective because the second a second person walks
I was
in the
gonna
room,
say okay,
it, like,
that's
glitches
fair.
out
That's fair
because it's trying to make it
it's
look like the Force.
it is a really cool shot though that it's like looks different for you.
Yeah, that's really funny. I mean, you
but-
can see why it wouldn't be too effective in some
but like
situations.
I would still like to see it come back as like
It's some stupid, call back to that.
yeah.
Yeah, they could definitely bring that back at some point. I'd be happy with it. That's some technology.
Bring it
that
back
would-
for part 2, guys. Come on,
Yeah,
please.
specifically in a hallway to trick Gabriel into like
Yeah.
slipping on a banana peel.
What
or
if he just
something.
walks into the wall, like to trick him to walk into?
He's
the...
like, huh? This is a wall. And he's
like honestly, it'd be really cool to be like, oh,
you could do
there's like a false wall.
You could do a Bugs Bunny thing where like it's a tunnel.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he goes full force into it with
Yeah.
like a motorcycle and dies.
That's how it ends.
Dude,
He's
see?
like, finally, he's dead. Reckoned.
See, this is practical technology. You're right. They should bring that back. You're so right about that.
But I mean, they did bring something back in this one that you mentioned.
Are you gonna refer to the? Because they did a solid Chekhov's gun in there with the pickpocketing.
I was not gonna say that, but yeah, it does. Like, I do like the whole pickpocketing.
Because in the first scene, like Haley Atwell's character is a pickpocketer, and then Tom Cruise kind of shows the trick where if you replace what you're pickpocketing with something that's like around the same weight, the person won't notice that they've been pickpocketed.
Yeah,
so
and that's where the
he's like a
lighter
little
comes
lighter,
in.
and then that comes up like 3 times throughout the movie, and also at the end where he steals the key from Gabriel.
Yeah, I like that
But-
the lighter kind of came back and
Yeah.
Gabriel has it.
It's like just enough time where you forgot about that little trick, and then it comes back,
Yeah.
and you're like, ah.
There it is.
But it does make me think of Uncharted, right? Because in Uncharted, of all movies,
Oh, I thought
there's
I was like,
some pickpocketing going on, and you're watching the screen. It's like there's no possible way that happened on screen,
yeah,
which makes it cheap. In this movie, you see the pickpocketing happening, and like sometimes
there is,
sometimes
like,
it's not like the
in
focus
airport,
of the shot.
In the airport, there is like a thing where I'm like, okay, they're just saying that. She
I have
has
no
it now.
idea where Tom got the key off of Gabriel on the train, though. I will say, like, I feel like that almost happened off screen.
It might be when he has the knife. When they're like, maybe that's the distraction.
If
him holding the knife down,
if you like
and he
slow it
grabs
down and it's on screen, then that
That's
gets
crazy.
so many points for me.
Yeah,
If it happens off screen, that's lame.
I think it's meant to be when he has the knife, because like it is the because it brings to Luther what Luther said. The entity's thinking, or the entity has 2 things: that Gabriel's gonna go, or you're gonna kill Gabriel.
Yeah.
And he does the same thing, but like he then ends up on top because he has the key, because he got so close to killing Gabriel. He used that as the distraction to
Oh,
That's what I think.
Oh, you're right on the money, I think.
Yeah.
So it happens off screen, but I think they throw in a wrinkle
Yeah.
there that makes it totally cool still.
Yes.
It's not lame, it's cool. Cuz like Tom Cruise knows that's a vital part of the mission, not to kill Gabriel. So like he knows that.
Yeah, but and then even
He's
Luther
using
says
it as
like
a
you
distraction.
you know that, but when you're looking at him dead in the eyes, like it may just change.
I mean, the way Tom is acting in that scene, he clearly just wants to kill him.
yeah, but he's
So maybe that doesn't quite mesh. But
I think he's, it's a you got to play the game where do you know what he's thinking? Do you actually not know what he's thinking?
does the writer know what he's thinking?
Christopher McQuarrie is just sitting there like typing on his computer. He's like, yeah, I'll figure it out in part
He's
2.
like, how does he get the key? Oh yeah, he got it in this scene.
I mean,
Off-screen, but
it would be honestly like very like disappointing if it was like, oh yeah, I took it off of him when like it flew out of his pocket and I saw it, and for a split second when he went down, I grabbed it, put it in my pocket.
Yeah.
So, but
That's another thing that this movie does well is it establishes what the key might like.
the key is the MacGuffin. It's
the
a
key
MacGuffin.
is the MacGuffin, but it might have the ability to control the entity, which is the evil AI, which is why everyone wants it.
Yeah, it's
And
well,
they
everyone
establish
wants
and
it to control it, and
Yeah.
Ethan Hunt wants it to destroy it.
yeah, and they remind you of that several times, so you don't lose that idea.
Yeah.
So that helps it's less confusing than some of the other movies. I'll just say that.
Yeah. But I was gonna bring up when I said that there's something that's brought back.
Oh.
Excuse me, guys. Sorry about
So
that.
if you remember the climax of the first movie,
first one,
they're
it's-
on a train.
They're on top of the train.
And they're on a train again. Weird.
Do you think this is gonna be like? Now this brings
What
up
is
a
the
point.
fascination with fighting on trains?
Well, hold
because
on,
this
hold on.
happens in other movies too. Like, was it Speed 2 or Speed with
I don't know.
Keanu Reeves?
I don't know if Speed's on a train. I do know like the Wolverine has that cool train sequence.
So the Wolverine is a train sequence.
I think
Bullet Train is on a train the
Bullet
entire
Train.
movie.
There is a train. Yeah.
Hello. And then
I think though
there's that one movie where the guy gets clocked in the tunnel. What movie is that?
I have no clue.
I felt like it was Speed 2 for some reason.
Let me look it up. Let me see if Speed has a train sequence.
And they go through a tunnel in this movie, of course.
Yeah,
Trains always go through tunnels. They're always going through tunnels.
Speed 1994.
I mean, a train would be going through
train.
tunnels if it was in the Austrian Alps, like in the movie. So,
It is Speed. Yeah.
aha! I was
Yeah.
right.
There is I haven't seen Speed, so. But yeah, Keanu Reeves is atop a train. But I think.
Oh, actually, while we're mentioning things that are kind of feel the same, they're fighting on a train. There's some set locations in this movie that are the same exact locations used in other movies.
Yeah. Well,
Like-
I was talking, as I said, we talk off mic because, we want to talk a little bit
Yeah.
and not put it out to the world. But I told you, I was like, literally this whole scene with the Fiat, like going down and being chased by Paris in the big truck,
Yeah.
is literally the exact same set piece as Fast X from this year. And
It's like if the camera panned over the right, you'd see Dom.
You see
Toretto.
Dom Toretto, exactly.
just sitting there.
Like, I kind of wish that I didn't see Fast X before this.
They should have a moment in the movie where like they're driving along and they get cut off by someone and then they like look and it's Dom Toretto and his like Mustang or whatever.
Yeah, it's
and
two
they just
separate-
look at
it's
each
two
other.
separate,
They look at each other for a second and then they just like give a head nod or something.
That'd
and then he
be the
drives away.
weirdest crossover. That'd genuinely be the
They're in the same place.
dumbest crossover, in my opinion.
Who's to say they're not there at the same time? And then I would say some locations used in either Fallout or the one before that are like the same locations used in John Wick when they're in Paris.
I haven't seen John
Wick Chapter 4.
I haven't seen John Wick
when they're
Chapter
in
4 yet.
Paris, like especially with the canals. Oh, so I think it was supposed to be Venice in the movie or something.
Yes, it's Venice.
But it's clearly filmed in Paris because that's where John Wick is, and that was Paris. Unless it's Venice, and they said it was Paris, which is confusing.
Yeah.
Not to be confused
Yeah.
with a character named Paris. And
Okay, now this brings up a big thing about
the same
actually the whole
locations.
confusing thing.
It's like Italy and like France have a monopoly on all action scenes in movies.
They kind of do though. Like there is a lot of, like Paris and Italy. You said right?
Yeah.
I think it's because it's like almost, like if you said it. Do you think I'll turn this into a question. Do you think there'll ever be a Mission Impossible sequence set in like New York City?
Honestly, they should just because it'd be different.
I don't think they should. And the reason why?
Well, the second one is like Australia, right? Isn't it?
Yes, I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like,
They did Australia.
I know they
They
did,
haven't
but,
done
like,
Japan yet either. That'd be cool.
They did. Oh no, they didn't do Japan. I was gonna say they did in 2
They
or
did
3.
China.
They did China, the China rooftop thing, and um, yeah, they haven't done Japan.
They they should do like
Japan.
Montana just to be different.
Just Montana, just random.
It's different.
I think
location.
it would be. I think though it would be kind of fun to have like a rule, like if we did it in like Kansas, like a rule set.
Yeah,
piece.
like they're just driving in a straight line. There's no
Yeah.
mountains or anything or like
Yeah.
buildings.
But like in all honesty, I think like something like New York, you couldn't really do it because it is such fast pace. Like you can do it in like, well, bringing up like what we discussed like 2 weeks ago, Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones, it was the 60s.
Yeah.
It wasn't, today New York. But like today New York, there's a lot of people there. There's a lot of cars. Like it's one of those places that would be bombed.
Are you suggesting
the
they
movie.
time traveled to film Indiana Jones?
No. No. What I'm saying
That was
is
a set.
what I'm saying is that of course it's a set, but like these movies or the Mission Impossible movies,
They
they do
like,
them on location.
Yeah, they're too big to
So-
not do them on location. So they have to use like
I
the
wouldn't,
same locations.
and I think that's why like New York and Seattle and all these places are used as like the like threats. Like
Oh yeah.
they're gonna bomb Seattle, they're gonna bomb New York. I think that's why they're used as the threats, is
Mhm.
because it's like they can't really go to New York and shut down like 5 blocks.
Maybe that's why they decided to make it a train in the Austrian Alps.
Yeah, and I think that kind of brings a full circle of like why I think people like throwing action movies on trains is because first and foremost it's fast paced.
Yeah.
Secondly, there's a lot of there was a train sequence in Indiana Jones.
Yeah, there was.
It's-
Trains and movies, man. Never good.
all right, we're gonna have to do a whole train ranking now, like
Train
Just-
action scenes.
just train action scenes. But like it's fast paced. There's obstacles like in this movie, the whole tunnel scene.
Yeah.
And also I think it's very
Tunnels, like, yeah, I mean, that we've seen that several. I mean, shoot, they did that in the first one in this series.
yeah, but they flew a helicopter through
There
that
was a
tunnel.
helicopter. Well,
Like-
but I feel like it was not a real helicopter or anything. If they really,
course
flew
No, they
a
didn't. I
helicopter
don't
through a
think they
train
did.
tunnel, that'd be
I
sick.
don't think they did. But I mean, I can look
But they could probably do that now. I mean, they're really pushing the boundaries with what they can
Oh
do
my God.
stunt wise. That'd be sick.
that would be sick, but at the same time like they would try to do that and then you'd hear in the news like Tom Cruise dead,
You know-
56 like
That's an interesting point because, in that first movie, that came out in 1996, that big
Mhm.
action set piece at the end with the helicopter and the train tunnel, and they do like he leans in and the helicopter blades are like a couple inches from cutting his neck off or whatever, but it's not as real as they get with the action in later movies.
Mhm.
Because, like, imagine if they did that IRL. Like, Tom Cruise is crazy enough to have, like, helicopter blades a couple inches from his neck.
Like I said, you would hear
You can't even do that.
if they did that in part 2, you'd hear Tom Cruise dead at 56 or something.
Yeah.
Like
You-
that's what you would hear.
But I think that's what makes the first couple movies feel so different is the
Yeah.
action is less real.
Oh yeah.
Um,
But we can go into I think it's a good time to switch over into like the franchise and our favorite action scenes.
yeah, well,
but I do want to bring up one more thing about this part 1. And that is, well, actually I'll go back quickly to my train sequence thing. As I said, it's fast paced, but also it's higher stakes. Like if they fall off the train, they will not be able to catch up. If they fall off the train, they're guaranteed to be dead.
yeah.
And then also it's close quarters.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's a close quarter fight, but with bigger cinematic feel.
Yeah, and then the train falling off the
Yeah,
bridge
that's
and all that.
yeah, but that doesn't
Great
matter.
sequence.
But I do have
honestly.
one more question I have a question for you
Okay, hit me.
before we jump into the franchise or even though we've been talking about the franchise
Yeah,
as a
we've
whole.
we've just kind of been intermingled with our conversation here.
But we'll bring up our favorite action scenes, I should say.
Yeah.
What do you want to see in Dead Reckoning Part 2?
Part 2?
Yes.
Not a train sequence. Just something
Just
just something different. Although I think the train sequence was awesome. I really
Yeah.
do. But I would like to, like I said, maybe a different location. Maybe throw it in America or something, because I don't think they've done that.
Do you think what if they did like Japan, America?
That would
Have
be
they done
that'd
South
be sick.
America?
I don't think so.
They've kind of just stayed in Europe.
Yeah.
Europe and
Yeah.
yeah,
maybe-
because they had Russia, France, Italy.
Well, so so the end of the first one ends with like they have to go to the submarine, which is sunken underneath the Arctic Ocean.
Oh, they're gonna go to the
So,
Arctic, yeah. Well,
that could be kind of
that could be where they
That's
go
like
to
the
South
first
America.
act.
That's where they could go to South America.
That's nowhere near the Arctic.
Oh, the Arctic. Oh wait, I'm
Not
thinking of Antarctica.
Not Antarctica.
I'm thinking of
the
Antarctica.
Arctic.
Damn it.
Antarctica would be sick. Like Tom Cruise is sliding on some ice, and then like he looks over at a penguin for a second, and then
Oh
it's
my
like
god.
pause, and then he like continues with the action.
I think they could go to. I think. So they're going to the Arctic. They're guaranteed.
A real place is important though, because
Yeah.
I think it's the fifth one where he dives underwater and like that underwater data chamber thing.
Yeah.
It's like it's entirely CGI, and that place looks so not real. It's like I don't care. You know what I mean?
I thought it was still a fun action sequence. We'll bring it up. I'm gonna bring it up in a few minutes.
It's all
But
right.
I think if they went to like Japan and like if they were able to go to Japan, South America, or America, I would be fine with.
Yeah.
that.
So cool location for sure.
They go to Canada.
Man,
They just go to Canada.
Winnipeg. I don't know how you up the ante with the action, because Tom Cruise has already done everything. What is there to do? Infiltrate an underwater sub, I guess. That part
I
could be
don't
really
know.
cool, but that feels like it'll be just the first act of the next one.
Ooh, that's actually I like that idea where they infiltrate the sub for the first act. And
Unless it takes the entire movie to get there.
I don't
which-
think it would. You brought up a good point. I was like thinking of like the sub's going to be the final act. I could see the sub being the very first. I could see the sub being the cold open, honestly.
Oh, I hope it's not that short, or it's like
I could see it could be the cold open or at least the first act, and then the entity like hard drive is the new MacGuffin instead of the key.
something like that.
Because I think like the key being the MacGuffin for this part is good. I think the entity being the MacGuffin for the next one is even better.
Yeah.
And honestly might even work for like America, because like I said, the big city like landscapes.
The
there's a lot
entity
of
downloaded
cars.
its remaining memory on a computer in
Well, I think it could like
Kentucky.
it could.
We have
But-
to infiltrate KFC
But if the entity
headquarters.
can like change stuff, like it can like, mess up the whole traffic system in like New York City or something.
Oh no, everything's a green light.
No,
We're dead.
I mean, people around here, people don't
People
drive.
just like, it's green. I'm going for it.
Exactly.
Smash into each other.
But yeah, I want to see in Dead Reckoning Part 2 is I kind of want to see
Actually, that'd be sorry. You said something about traffic, and then that was his cover for his wife, who's like a traffic control guy, and like what was
she's
it,
just doing a bunch of different
the fourth
odd
or
jobs.
fifth one, or something like that. Like that was
Yeah.
his cover. That was his job or whatever. He's totally not a spy. He's a traffic control guy or whatever.
Oh yeah, he wasn't he? Yeah.
yeah.
Damn, I forgot about
That'd
that.
be a really good callback. And then
Yeah.
they're like, I actually know quite a bit about this.
Yeah. Oh, we never even talked about Ilsa's death.
Yeah.
Do you think she's gonna stay
That
dead?
shows how much I care.
Damn.
So
Really?
that sounds harsh, but her whole character in these last three movies has been like
she's been the stand-in.
she's
for
like
the
at
love
odds
interest.
with what Tom Cruise is doing.
She's the stand-in for the love interest.
Yeah, she is like a pseudo love interest, and then she's usually working against them, but towards the end she joins teams.
Yeah.
And then like, oh, you're free from the spy game. You can get out of here, live your life. And then
No, that's the
she
thing,
comes
though.
back anyway.
That's what I'm thinking, though,
But
is that I don't think she's gonna stay dead because of that whole like they've set that up.
And that's part of like Kittrich's monologue in here. It's like that's the pattern
Mhm.
that keeps happening. So they actually use it as like they acknowledge it, right?
Yeah, and that's
And
why
they-
I'm like really hoping that I'm like I love Rebecca Ferguson. I think she's
Yeah.
great, but I really hope she stays dead.
She probably doesn't want to do another one, and that's why they killed her.
I mean,
Well,
I feel like
some people would say like it's really cheap, but it's like I don't mind them transitioning to like a new character or something.
Yeah,
And like
let's see what.
I think a lot of
Rebecca
people are
Ferguson-
probably upset about that.
Oh,
Actually,
she has Dune,
she's
she's fine.
Paul's mom in Dune.
Yeah. She's-
Um,
on Wikipedia it says she's gonna be in Dead Reckoning Part 2.
maybe it'll be a flashback.
It's probably gonna be a flashback, but I just keep her dead. I like her character, but if she stays dead, it'd be nice.
Because they have a thing where that you think she's dead and then she's not, which they do in every movie.
Exactly. That's why I'm like,
So that gets a little tired, I guess. Yeah, I guess that's something that doesn't
Sorry,
work
I'm
great
looking
for
at
Dead
I'm looking
Reckoning,
at
but
Dead Reckoning Part 2. Nick Offerman's gonna be in Dead Reckoning Part 2.
he's going to be the main bad.
No, he's gonna be chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff. Character's name is Sidney,
Boring. He's a politician.
I guess.
I don't know.
Maybe he's like Alec Baldwin. Maybe
the
he'll
new Alec Baldwin.
the new Alec Baldwin in these.
Yeah, something
But-
like that. Yeah, and they kill off Ilsa. So, I don't know. I didn't really care about her character that much.
I'm a little upset now. That Rebecca Ferguson's probably gonna come back.
You don't know that. It could. No, that's something they do a lot. They bring up things from Ethan Hunt's past, and he like thinks about them, or
Yeah.
has like a dream about them, or like has a flashback.
Yeah, but then
Interesting time to kind of bring up James Bond here.
yeah. Do you want to just go into the franchise as a whole then?
Well,
Because they do this in the other franchise that we kind of
So,
the Fast franchise that
how is Ethan Hunt different from like a James Bond? Ethan Hunt's kind of got the Fast X family thing going on. Like
yes.
he has a little crew of people. James Bond is almost always just a rogue.
I
one
think
person.
I want to pass this by, but I think that if we put this on like a timeline
Yeah.
of like how to like whole like around the world thriller
Yeah.
action movies, I think like one side is Fast and Furious, where it's kind of like ridiculous, just action set
Not
pieces.
good.
They're not good, but I love them. But like it's one side where it's like this whole, kind of ridiculousness, set pieces. Then there's the James Bond where it's like grounded reality, spy thriller. Do you
the
think
Daniel Craig movies?
Yeah, the Daniel. I mean, even all of James Bond. That's, well, no. Sorry about all that. But
You might have to just start over that little part that you're.
nah, it's all good. No, we're good. We're good. But
Are you sure?
yeah, we're good. I hope that they didn't hear my dog deciding to just destroy our door out there. But the where was I? James Bond.
Yeah.
The James Bond franchise is like grounded spy thriller action movie. I think Mission Impossible is right in the center where you have that whole returning character aspect and family aspect, kind of a little bit ridiculousness from Fast and Furious, but the groundedness and the spy and action thriller.
I was just gonna
from
say
James
they
Bond.
kind of do that with James Bond though. They try to like humanize him more, because he becomes attached to the Léa Seydoux character.
Well, I think that's also the whole James Bond story, though. Is like
I think they try to humanize Ethan Hunt too much. He's not enough like James Bond, because he's like he cares about all the people in his crew a little too much.
yeah,
it kind of.
But I think it's a nice middle ground between, because Fast and Furious, the whole joke is like, oh, it's family. Like every single if they
yeah, it's the
like,
point where it's a joke.
it's a joke.
Yeah.
Where James Bond is like, I really care about this one person, and we have a kid, and like he only really cares about one person. Where Ethan Hunt's like,
He cares about.
I care about everyone, and when he loses someone, you feel it.
Well, they say that in the yeah, that's true. And then they say that in the movie. It's like, this mission can't be bigger than any of our lives, and then like Ilsa dies.
Yeah,
So there's actually some weight there.
exactly. Well, like I mean,
now
it's set up in
did
the
it hit
opening.
me super hard emotionally? No, not really.
Yeah,
But they're trying, like
yeah,
and I'm sure for a lot of people it is effective. Anyone who really likes Rebecca Ferguson's character. But yeah, so they do try to humanize Ethan Hunt a lot, to a point where it's kind of weird. It's kind of like Tom Cruise is like he's like, hey, throw this in the script so I look cooler. You know what I mean? Like, I have to be the perfect man in these movies. So I will say that I do kind of see that, because like Ethan Hunt is the perfect man. Come on. He's a very capable spy. He is a lover, okay? He, a very passionate lover or whatever. He cares about.
I did not. What movies did you watch?
Okay, well, you know what I mean. Like,
no, I know what you mean.
Like,
yeah.
He's a. Never mind. Okay, well, and then also he cares about everyone. Yes. Like, no man left behind, unless they're an unnamed henchman. But whatever.
What?
A lot of unnamed henchmen get murked by him, but for the most part, he does try to like neutralize people without killing them. For the most part.
Yes.
Using his fancy gadgets. Because, like, even that part where in, was it Fallout, where, like, they're like, you have to kill this guy for us, Tom Cruise, or Ethan Hunt. And he like, you have the option of either we kill you or you kill this guy. And he does the third option, which is, like, blow up the entire mission and kidnap Solomon Lane.
Oh,
instead of like killing him.
Yeah.
So it's like
for a second I thought you were talking about the opening with the plutonium. I was like, wait, like, because Vin Rhames is like.
Oh yeah. Also, like, he's like not willing to let Ving Rhames die.
Yeah. So I thought you were talking about that. No, but yeah, I totally understand that whole,
like
that it's like the car chase.
Yeah, he's not enough of like a James Bond character. But that's at least that separates the two characters there.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they'd be
like, would you rather have?
Movies.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is would you rather have
the only thing separating
something too close to Fast and Furious or something too close to James Bond?
Yeah, the only thing
like a nice middle
separating
ground.
Mission Impossible from James Bond is like Ethan Hunt's different characterization than James Bond, and like. The technology they use, both advanced, yes, but like Mission Impossible really has like staple things, like specific things, like the face mask thing and things like that keep recurring, that keep it different.
Yeah,
but
no,
I'm pretty sure
agree.
I'm pretty sure Daniel Craig's James Bond fought on a train too at some point.
Yeah,
what is
the opening of Skyfall?
Man,
trains,
and he fell off a bridge and all that, and bro.
You know what? We should have done
action
this pod
movies
on a
are
train.
derivative. They all suck, actually.
We really should have done this pod on a train. Let's do a pod on a train.
We're on a train.
Yeah,
it's like,
we're definitely on a train.
Sean, it's like the walls fall away, and like we're on a moving train. And it's
Where's
like,
Wolf Blitzer at this point?
Yeah, like Wolf Blitzer is giving like a news.
That is still that was the funniest thing about, like, honestly, there's comedy in this one. But I think the funniest scene in all of Mission Impossible franchise history is the scene where the walls go away in Fallout, when the walls go away for the hospital.
Yeah, your little nuclear manifesto that you totally accomplished. Yeah, well, it's not true. It didn't happen.
I just love the idea that that Wolf Blitzer was like on set one day and he just walks in and goes, yeah, we got him. And then he takes on the mask and it's Benji.
Yeah, they got the
It's
real wolf for that.
like that's so funny to me is that it's just like Wolf Blitzer like plays a role in one of these movies.
There's no distracting cameos.
which he
in
also
Dead
plays
Reckoning.
a role. He actually also plays a role in James Bond.
Oh, that,
Yeah, in
there you go.
Skyfall.
He must really like those types of movies.
I mean, I could see it.
Yeah.
I think no wait.
There's no distracting cameo.
I know there
in
is a
Dead Reckoning,
CNN.
so,
I know there is a CNN
that I can think of.
spy writer. Is it him or Jake Tapper? Let me see.
Well, yeah, like comparing this to like James Bond and Fast and Furious makes a lot because like
Jake Tapper.
Mission Impossible, the first couple movies definitely have a lower budget and like feel very different. They feel more dated.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, because it was 90.
The same way
what
the
was it?
Fast and Furious franchise, like the first movie is just about car racing.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I mean, like going into. I think this is a good time to go into our action set piece.
hang
Our
on,
favorite.
Hang on.
Okay, fine.
And then when you get to 3, you got that more serious, early 2000s kind of pessimistic kind of feel with like there's like a filter over the entire movie. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like
Yeah.
that. And then 4 through 7 are like very homogenized. I think it's mostly McQuarrie at this point, right? It's not.
4 through 7.
Yeah, 4 through 7.
I don't know if he was a part of 4, but I know he was a big part of 5, 6, and 7.
Yeah, so
So
it's very much like the Fast and Furious franchise where everything's getting escalated
I mean,
and all that.
the Fast
Except
and
Mission
Furious
Impossible
franchise,
is a lot
Justin Lin.
better. I'll say that.
So Christopher
Oh.
McQuarrie, he wrote 5, 6, and 7,
Yeah,
and that's it. And he directed 5, 6, and 7.
he's attached to 8, right? The part
yes,
2.
yes, he's attached to 8.
So that makes me feel very confident the next one will be very good.
Yeah.
And one thing, so like a random one I liked, I think. So Mission Impossible 2. The thing I liked about that one is it's very campy. It feels kind of ridiculous on purpose.
Which one?
The second one.
Oh, okay.
So like that one definitely is more campy. Right?
Sorry. I'm
So-
looking at so you made me think of like the writers of Ghost Protocol because I think
Wasn't
McQuarrie-
J.J. Abrams with that one?
J.J. Abrams' production
I-
company has been a part of them, I think.
But he like directed.
He
that
directed 3.
one. Oh.
He directed 3.
Okay.
The director of 4 is Brad Bird,
I did not like the Brad Bird one,
which
to be honest.
is really interesting because you know who Brad Bird is, right?
Remind me. What
Here's
else did he
his
do?
top 4 films on Letterboxd.
Yeah.
Ratatouille, The Incredibles, The Incredibles 2, and The Iron Giant.
Oh, all animation. Okay.
He's more of an animated guy, but
Yeah.
the writers of Ghost Protocol wrote the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies, live action that Michael Bay did,
Ooh.
a movie called Wonder Park, and they're now writing the next Beverly Hills Cop movie.
See that says a lot right there.
Yeah.
That says a lot right by itself. And that's why honestly I didn't like 4 or 5 that much.
You mean 3 or 4? Because I know you liked 5. I thought.
I didn't like 3 either.
Okay.
3 through 5 I didn't really care for too much.
Yeah.
But weirdly enough, I did like the second one because it felt very campy and ridiculous. I mean, there's that one part in the second one where there's a flaming doorway and a dove flies out and Tom Cruise walks by.
That's John
looking
Woo.
out.
That's such John Woo.
Exactly, but it felt really campy in a good way. Whereas these newer movies are not campy, which I think works on its own.
I think they
because
work,
of the way
yeah.
they're presented and all that. Just the same way like the Daniel Craig James Bond movies are not really campy or anything.
The thing though about number 2 for me at least is like that campiness is fine. Like it's fine as a John Woo film. I think
Yeah.
John Woo does a lot of stuff. I mean, he did Face Off. He's done Broken Arrow.
Face Off.
It's these campy like films. But I mean, he's actually a really good director in Hong Kong cinema. Like he did Hard Boiled and The Killer, which I've heard are two of the honestly best action movies. So the reason why I'm like the
They should have brought
campiness in,
John
like,
Woo back as like a consultant or something. Honestly,
just
just for fun.
for fun, he's just there.
Yeah.
Like, but the reason why I'm not a huge fan of the campiness in Mission Impossible 2 is because even in the first one, it's like, okay, we are, it's it's still like you can see the sprinkles of like where it is now, even in one, where it's like I said, it's not the kind of more of a joke that Fast and Furious is, but it's not the super seriousness of James Bond. So I think you can see that nugget like in number 1.
Yeah.
And then the whole campiness of number 2 just kind of is like, why? Like, is like, okay. And then 3 kind of comes back and it's like,
I
it's
like
almost
the second
rebuilding
one.
for me.
The third
2.
one is like a complete stark contrast in tone to the second one.
Exactly.
Like night and day.
And it is weird that J.J. Abrams did that one. Like he directed that one.
Yeah, and I don't really like that one. So
It's not super great.
it has Philip Seymour Hoffman, and that's about it.
Philip Seymour Hoffman though is probably the best part. That is like the best part of 3 is that Philip Seymour Hoffman just is like there and doing his own thing.
I'd say with the Dead Reckoning's bad guy, the Gabriel character, he is you don't know a lot about him except that he's tied to Ethan Hunt's past.
I think we're gonna see more in part 2. So
yeah, hopefully they flesh him out.
I'm giving him a little bit of a pass because it is part 1.
Yeah,
but
they could flesh him out a little bit more.
I'm hoping they flesh him out a little bit more in part 2, and I think they will.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
definitely would. I would say Dead Reckoning is in the same vein as like Skyfall or No Time to Die or something like that in terms of like
in
terms of the way like the tone is. And
if we're gonna compare to James Bond, I feel
Yeah.
like the first Mission Impossibles, the first few,
like Quantum of Solace.
number one Mission Impossible is Casino Royale,
Yeah.
and then 2 and 3, and even 4
Yeah.
are like Quantum of Solace,
Yeah.
and then 4, 5, 6, and 7 are the Skyfall.
In other words, the good ones.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, in my opinion.
But I'm like, in your opinion, I would rope 4 like halfway between them. I really like some 4, but I also really am not like, there's some 4 stuff that I'm like, okay.
Your dog is like screaming.
I know. It's fine. It's fine. It's not being picked up, I hope.
Let's hope not.
I hope not.
Okay.
The listeners are just
let's get into like the ranking the
we
action
could,
scenes.
So I
Because we
was
haven't
saying
done that
just
yet,
like,
right?
what would be your top 5? Because I think on my list there are 3 like guaranteed. Like these are in my top 5. And that's the Knock Liz Tice, which is
in the first movie.
Yep. movie where Ethan Hunt's hanging and like the whole because it's so suspenseful.
It's so classic too.
It's iconic, it's suspenseful still, and it's so just well done.
Yeah.
Number 2 for me is the Burj Khalifa climb. That to me is just like, that kind of almost was like,
Call me a hater, but I didn't find that interesting.
I think,
The only thing cool about that is like how high off the ground he is.
yeah, but like I think it's very suspenseful. It's well directed in suspense, and that's why I think it's like kind of a lock in my list. Is because it's kind of become one of the staples of like iconic Mission Impossible, for at least these new ones. So that's where mine would be as well. And then the Fallout bathroom fight. I think that's
a good fight. Yeah.
That is like, and I think also
probably the best like hand-to-hand combat.
It's
we see.
I think the reason why I like these 3, and I think these 3 are a lock for me at least, is that it shows it almost, if you put those all 3 together, if you watched all the scenes in like a 20-minute like video, that is what Mission Impossible is to me. It is this heist sequence where they need to be super secretive. Then there's also the outrageous, whoa, Tom Cruise being crazy as shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's going to kill himself doing one of these movies. outrageous action sequence
Yeah.
or set piece, and then the more hand-to-hand combat, not lower stakes, but definitely like shows a lot of the like fight choreography that goes into these films. So that's why I think those three are a lock to me. And so the other two I'm gonna decide here.
I really like the motorcycle chase in the second one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Into the beach fight.
Yeah, I mean the beach fight is so over the top and stupid, but that's what I like about it.
So is that on your list?
It might be. I don't to pick like 5 out of these. I can tell you my least favorite ones for sure. In Rogue Nation when he's diving underwater to do the
I really
data
like
swap.
that one too.
I didn't like that.
I like that though.
I'd say I didn't like that one. The fight with the Bone Doctor or whatever.
Man, you're just like dunking on Road Nation right now, aren't you?
Yeah, that was the one I was looking at. The Halo jump in Fallout, I don't. He's just skydiving from higher up.
The Halo jump to me though?
He does have to rescue.
You bring up
Walker
the Halo
for a
jump,
second.
and the one thing that I was like I was kind of taken out of the Halo jump, or the Halo jump I wasn't the one taken out of, but because it switched formats. Did you notice? Because I lent you my Blu-ray copy of it.
Yeah.
And I watched it on Paramount Plus.
Mm-hmm.
Did the aspect ratio change for you when they did the Halo jump? Because I noticed it. It like changed into a wider format.
Well,
and of course it's because it's like whole IMAX thing. Like
just to dunk on that scene. First of all, that's something from the 2014 Godzilla film, the Halo jump, and then also because like Halo jumps, we've seen that before in movies, so it's not even like.
But I think
original.
because it was filmed practically,
okay,
it lends itself to like
sure.
It lends itself to like almost a higher status.
Yeah, but then clearly they just did the jump on like a sunny day and then tried to make it look like it was like a stormy.
Yeah, but
because he goes through like a storm
I can
cloud.
forgive that though.
It's like CGI, so
yeah. Okay.
Meh.
All right, fine.
I did like the one car chase. Shoot, which one was that?
Describe it. I can probably pinpoint it. Was it in Ghost Protocol with the sandstorm?
He was in a car, and he was being chased by motorcycles.
He was in the car,
and he did like a 360 maneuver that smashed all the motorcycle guys against the walls.
Oh yeah,
that was pretty sick.
Think that was Rogue Nation.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that was Rogue Nation.
That was a good move.
I think that's the because he gets out, he like almost dies during the dive sequence, and then him and Benji are in the car.
Yeah,
and then they crash, then he gets on the motorcycle to go. So that's why I labeled it motorcycle chase on here.
Yeah,
not car to motorcycle chase.
Yeah,
but I honestly since we're on Rogue Nation, I felt very not dissatisfied, but very underwhelmed by the whole airplane cold open.
Yeah, he's just hanging on the outside of an airplane.
Yeah, well, because they pumped it up as like he's holding on for real. It's like cool, but
Tom Cruise really did do that.
No, I respect Tom Cruise for that, but like it's so just like I was like, okay.
And then just to ruin that scene even more for me, he's like, Benji, open the door. He opens the door, and then CGI Tom Cruise flies into the airplane. Like, yeah, because they didn't.
Well, of course they're not gonna have Tom Cruise fly into an airplane.
First of all, he gets like sucked into the airplane, which I don't know if that would happen. I don't know how physics work, and I know there's like a pressure difference. I don't think he'd get sucked in like that. That's
yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Yeah, I just sound like a hater, but I don't know if too many of these are standing out to me.
Like I said, I think the three that I said stand out to me for a reason.
Definitely,
and I think I now know my at least one of the ones that I want to put.
Yeah.
in there, and that's actually the I just had it. Where is it? Where is it? Ah. Um it's the oh my gosh, I just had it.
Which movie?
I want to say it was Rogue Nation.
That's like the
I like
epicenter of the entire
Yeah.
franchise, I guess.
That's what it was. The opera silent fight.
Oh,
I think that one is like almost, if I was to, like, I'm of course saying that this is what Mission Impossible is to me.
yeah.
The reason why I think the opera silent fight is so good is because it melds the kind of hand-to-hand combat, like really well done fight choreograph
Yeah.
with the heist thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that would work.
That part,
Those two worked
that
really
part
well.
definitely seems
for me.
James Bond-esque. It seems like a James Bond set piece.
Yeah. Like I think that, and honestly I was gonna say Rogue Nation feels like the most James Bond movie to me out of the franchise. So I think like that's so for my list I would say the knock list, heist,
Dude,
the Burj Khalifa, the opera, and the bathroom fight.
It's crazy because like looking at this list, like looking at Ghost Protocol, the Kremlin explosion and the Burj Khalifa scene. It's like I don't remember that being in the same movie, and I just watched it.
Yeah.
Like I think those those seem like they were from like two different ones for some reason. To
honestly,
me.
Ghost Protocol. I was like looking. I think it was it was actually Rogue Nation. Rogue Nation has like the weirdest like third act, where it's nothing big. Where, like honestly, all these have not really big third acts.
I think that the Dead Reckoning with the train is probably the best one.
I think
like,
then I'll put. I think I'm gonna put then.
Just to really crap on Ghost Protocol, like the garage fight where they're in like the car garage thing, and Tom Cruise is fighting the bad guy of that movie, who I don't even remember what the actor was or anything. But it's like that guy's not even athletic. He's not like a scary threat. You know what I mean? And he's trying to get the briefcase with the nuclear launch codes or whatever, trying to like turn him off. That fight scene was just kind of not exciting for me. And then he drives the car and does like a vertical drop. It's like that would just kill him.
Yeah, that's
like
yeah.
There's no way anyone would survive that. I don't care if the airbag goes off. He's dead. So like that one just really was a stinker for me.
I just found out my fifth one.
Which one?
And I think it's from Fallout. It's the helicopter chase.
From Fallout?
From Fallout. Because I think, as I said, I'm making my list. My list is how I would see, like, if I was showing you, like, if you didn't watch them all, and I needed to show you what Mission Impossible is,
you would show me that.
I would need a heist sequence. I'd need a chase sequence. I need a batshit crazy, like, big action set piece sequence.
Yeah.
Hand-to-hand combat sequence, and like a heist/hand combat sequence. And I think my chase would be the helicopter chase sequence, because it is so, and I will say I do not like that little section of the movie solely because it switches aspect ratios so much.
I didn't notice that watching on my TV or anything, but
I don't know if I noticed it on, like I said, I watched it on Paramount Plus, and you watched it on a Blu-ray. I wonder. I'm gonna probably go watch my Blu-ray copy and see if it does
the Blu-ray is just widescreen the entire time.
That's interesting though, like because it almost it enhanced my experience, but I was then taken out because it switches from the helicopter chase to the Benji and the whole other team.
I'd say I didn't like how the fight between Tom Cruise and Henry Cavill at the end of Fallout is like aided by CGI with like the helicopter being hooked to
I understand why it's there, but I just didn't like it.
Yeah, it was like too much CGI, especially for Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
Because Mission Impossible does not use a lot.
So I have my 5 picks. Do you have any picks?
I'd say I'd say the OG movie the heist in the White Room,
Okay.
stealing the knock list is probably the best one, just because of, it was the first movie. It's classic. It's iconic. And then, man,
I know you said the Mission Impossible 2 motorcycle chase.
I really
You like
like
that
that
one.
motorcycle chase. I think that'd be in my top 5.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Yeah, because I'm writing down what.
I think the Burj Khalifa part does have to be in my top 5. And then the bathroom fight, top 5 for sure. Looking through these, I'd say the train sequence from Dead Reckoning.
From Dead Reckoning? All right.
Especially the part where they have to climb through like it's hanging down and they're climbing up.
Yeah, I actually did like that.
It reminded me a lot of Jurassic Park: The Lost World.
I was going to say that. I was just going to say that. The Lost World thing, it reminded me. So I'm like, man, this is Lost World.
Especially when the piano is going to fall on them.
Yes.
And then they just dodge it and then it crashes through the bottom of the car.
That lended to, I think that scene actually was like one of my favorite. I think it was unintentional comedy. But like Haley Atwell's acting, where she's just holding on to Tom Cruise, he's like, "Get the fuck off me!"
Tom Cruise is like, "Do you trust me?" And she's like, "No."
No. Yeah. It's so good.
But it is believable for the moment.
Oh,
they're
yeah,
hanging
definitely.
in a freaking train car,
Definitely.
off a bridge. Yeah, it definitely reminded me of Jurassic Park: The Lost World.
Yeah,
a lot.
I was gonna say
it's pretty much the same thing. You know that? Oh man, it's not nothing is original these days, huh? But
keep going.
the one thing I didn't like about the train sequence at the end is when Pom Klementieff has the betrayal of Gabriel and like helps Tom Cruise and Haley Atwell up, and then it jump cuts to them.
Yeah, that was kind of a little.
It's
annoying.
just kind of a cheap way to like, oh, they just fell.
Oh, they got out. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
oh no, they didn't.
Yeah.
I felt like that was a little cheap. Just show them climbing, and then that would have been fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of a cheap edit there, but other than that.
All right.
So mine is pretty much the same as yours, except I'd throw in the
you throw in a few
I
other
like
stuff.
that motorcycle chase
Yeah.
from John Woo's Mission Impossible 2.
I'd have to sit on the train sequence a little bit, but I think that might become one of my top 5, in all honesty.
Yeah.
So I'll go over our picks quickly. My picks for the top 5 action sequences of Mission Impossible, or action set pieces, is the knock list heist from Mission Impossible 1, the Burj Khalifa climb from Mission Impossible 4, Ghost Protocol, the opera fight from Mission Impossible 5,
That's a good
Rogue Nation, and then the bathroom fight and helicopter chase from Mission Impossible Fallout. Trevor's picks were...
Mine would almost be the same because, like I said, the knock heist,
from Mission Impossible 1,
the Burj Khalifa, the bathroom fight.
Mm-hmm.
I'd sub in the train sequence from Dead Reckoning, and then I had the motorcycle chase from MI2. But honestly, the opera fight I could put in there too. Like,
yeah. I mean, honestly,
we're
motorcycle
basically in
chase,
agreement here.
The motorcycle chase is... I think Mission Impossible 2 has some pretty good action sequences, honestly. Just there's not a lot. Because it is in this, like... I mean, looking at the list that I created, Mission Impossible 1 has 2 big sequences.
Yeah.
Mission Impossible 2 has 2 big sequences. 3 has 4 big sequences. And then Ghost Protocol, 2 Dead Reckoning, each have like 7.
I remember, well, since I watched all the movies this week in 5 days or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
I remember being really disappointed with Mission Impossible 3 because they had the beginning was just like a shootout in a warehouse. So,
Yeah.
meh. And it was at night.
I think
And then-
Mission Impossible 3 is the only one that doesn't have,
It doesn't have a big giant action thing.
like, in our lists.
Yeah. And then they have
Like, we have 1, 2,
they have a heist,
4.
but it's not like it's just like a standard heist. There's not like
It's just a heist to get Philip Seymour Hoffman out.
yeah, it's not like a lot of technical action going on. You have bridge shootout on here. I don't even remember what that was.
That's when they Philip Seymour Hoffman is recaptured.
Okay. That one was probably the
Yeah.
best one. And then him running around on rooftops.
I forgot about the China rooftop. Actually, that was kind of cool where he like swings in to the other rooftop, but
not really.
but yeah, but not
in comparison to the other one.
Exactly.
So that one was the Mission Impossible
opportunity.
3 was the most disappointing one from an
Yeah.
action standpoint, in my opinion.
Yeah. So that's our list. That's our top 5. Hopefully when Dead Reckoning 2 comes out, maybe next year. I think the filming just got halted due to the SAG strike.
Man, Hollywood can't catch a break.
Yeah, you want to go into the politics of Hollywood now?
COVID and then strikes. Oh
Yeah.
man.
I stand with the writers and the actors. They deserve fair wages.
Yeah.
Might be, I don't know, people listening to this might disagree, but I think, especially as an industry I'm going to hopefully go into, I think that writers and actors should get fair wages.
I hope they don't rush things.
I hope they
and
don't either.
Put things out even though they didn't have time to like refine them.
I hope they don't. But if it means, if I look at it this way, if I have to wait another year for Dead Reckoning Part 2,
I'll wait.
I'm fine with it. I'll wait. As long as they get fair wages. That's all I can say. So,
I mean, I don't even know, like, I don't know how you up the stakes with the Dead Reckoning Part 2.
a lot of people go behind, make the huge sequences work. So that's my take. But
I'm excited for the submarine heist or whatever that's gonna happen.
yeah, I am too. I'm
That'd be
very
cool.
excited. But yeah, so that pretty much wraps up our episode of Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Trevor, you ready for next week?
I am.
Yes. The elusive film, what would you say, rivalry of the summer? Would you call it a rivalry?
I don't know if it's a rivalry. They're both it's a friendly competition, really.
Yeah, it's a very friendly competition, but I have been looking forward to both of these. We are eating good next week.
Oh yeah.
Because next week is the release of Barbenheimer. The Barbie movie and Oppenheimer both come out. So please listen to that next week. Look forward to that next week.
If you're going to listen to any of these, listen to that
Listen to the Barbenheimer one. Barbenheimer is going to be great. I'm thinking I think that's a big enough thing that we need to have some guests.
Yes.
So we hopefully will have some guests come in, some of our friends, to discuss the Barbenheimer.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to watch them? What's your...
I'm gonna watch Oppenheimer first,
Okay.
and then Barbie.
All right. This is how I'm going to watch them. Barbie, Oppenheimer, then Barbie again.
Again?
Yeah. Well, because you got to
Barbie
go...
sandwich?
Yes. Because I look at it this way. When you go into Barbie, you're going to go into Barbie being like, yay, party, woohoo.
Then
You're
you
going
have
to
the
come out of
existential
Barbie.
dread.
Exactly. You're going to come out of Barbie going, whoa, that was great. Let's go. And then you're going to go straight into Oppenheimer going,
Traumatized by Oppenheimer.
death is all around us.
And
And you can't leave off the night like that. You can't leave off a great
yeah.
night like that. So you got to go have another party with Barbie.
And then that's when you double down on the trauma and you watch Mission Impossible 3 after Oppenheimer.
Just disappointment.
And that one's a downer, and it's also got like it feels pessimistic, that one.
Yeah. But yeah, so please look out for that. Follow
Barbie sandwich is good though.
Barbie sandwich. It will be good.
Speaking of sandwiches, we should get some food.
We probably should. It's yeah. As you said that, my stomach started to grumble. So yeah, we'll wrap this up here. We're gonna go get some food. You can follow the Fine Cut here on Spotify and on YouTube at After the Credits. On YouTube, After the Credits on YouTube, the Fine Cut on Spotify. And where can they find you, Trevor?
They can find me on Letterboxd at Trevzilla.
Trevzilla. And you can find me on Letterboxd at _filmworker_. And that is Ben. That's it. Go.
I should create a new Twitter or something. Just
You gonna promote your Twitter on here?
Well,
Are you not on Threads?
Well, Twitter is kind of, Elon. Well,
yeah.
But I should create like something new just so people can follow me and it's not just like myself.
All right.
Like, you know what I mean?
No, I feel that.
Separate account.
But yeah.
Because we're gonna be famous, right?
Oh yeah. This after Barbenheimer. We're gonna be making so much money, bud.
Yeah, our analysis of Barbie and Oppenheimer will
Our
break the internet.
Our 6-hour 5-part podcast on Barbenheimer is gonna be amazing.
I don't think it'll be that long.
Oh, it's gonna be long. I'll tell you that much. I feel like it's gonna be long, but
24-hour podcast marathon.
actually, we're gonna create a whole different podcast. It's gonna be called Barbenheimer: the duality of man.
Yes. Yes.
And it's gonna be a 17-part series. Each episode is 2 hours long. Yeah.
Everything can be categorized as either Barbie or Oppenheimer, depending.
No, it's Barbie. Is Oppenheimer a Ken?
Stay tuned, folks.
Stay
we'll
tuned.
Answer
All
that
right.
question next week.
Yeah. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
See ya.